Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Olivia. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Today's video is about all 7 of my children's storybooks. So grab some coffee, grab some tea, grab some beverage, and come on back, especially if you are a parent or an educator or a grandparent or a godparent. You have children in your life in some form or fashion, preschool to 5th grade. Come on over. So today I have all of my children's storybooks. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about each one and kind of my inspiration behind each book. And I'll start off with my first one, which is Little Marie's Life in Jamaica. Hopefully you can see it clearly here. This is my first children's storybook. I wrote this book based on my life. So I am what you call a Jamaican. I'm an American born to a Jamaican mom. And so that makes me mixed America with Jamaica. And that we have a title. I'm a Jamaican. And so I was born in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. My mom is Jamaican. I lived in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands for a few years, and then my mom moved us back to Jamaica, West Indies. So this book is about my family dynamics, moving to Jamaica, meeting my Jamaican extended family, my grandparents, and growing up like that. I spoke about school. The Jamaican school system is still based on the English system because Jamaica was a colony that was run, or a country that was run by the English government. And so our education system today, current day, and then when I was a child, was always based on the English education system. And so is all things to do with law. Even though Jamaica is independent and have been independent for many years, their judicial system is still reflectant of when the English was in charge. So my children's storybook, Little Marie's Life, is all about me moving to Jamaica, going to school, going to church, going to the countryside where I had some grandparents and I would spend summers there. And just what city life is about. I touch on music, I touch on food. So this is a really good book for, again, 5 or so years old all the way to 5th grade. If your child is interested in geography or wanting to learn anything about West Indian or Jamaican culture, this book touches on that. So this is my baby. I'm so proud of this book. And so all my books are available on my website. I'll include the link in the description below. And I'll also include my Amazon author page link where you can go on Amazon and get any of my books. Today's video is specifically about the children's storybooks. I'll do another video on my coloring books, but when you look up or you click on my Amazon author page, you will see that I have over 65 titles of books on Amazon, but we're just talking about the kids today. So book number 2 is, again, a nonfiction. Most of my books are nonfiction with the exception of one, which I'll get to, is Sophia's Great Adventure. That's my only fiction book. The rest of them are all nonfiction. So the second book is Shady Girl. And some people might read the title and thought that I'm like throwing shade, but no. The book is about my family tree, my family heritage. I'm from a blended family. We're multicultural. And so this is talking about shades of skin color, right? So in this book, I talk about, my grandmother, as in my mother's mom, her mom. I spoke about my dad, his side of the family. And so this book is a very good conversation starter for parents to really sit down and have the conversation with their children about their family tree. Like, where did they come from? What are they made up of? Culture and all of that. And so this is a great conversation starter. This is one of the books I did not use an illustrator for. I use different kinds of clip art in here, and I wanted it to be kind of like an open concept. So, kids and parents that read the book, they could see themselves in like mom, in like my grandparents, right? So I didn't use an illustrator to be super specific as far as features and all of that. I wanted to really just talk about family dynamics and family tree. So this is like what my mom looked like when she was young. She had that long, dark, curly, semi-curly hair because of her, her mom is, my grandmother, my mom's mom, is half Black and half Indian. And so, my mom's dad is half Black and half white. And so my family dynamics is quite multicultural. And I wanted to reflect that with like skin color, with hair texture, like that. This is my son, Gabe, when he was a baby. I have 4 biological children and a bonus daughter. And so, this is Izzy, my youngest. I used some real life pictures of my family and put them in an app that kind of made it look cartoonish. So, this book is very interesting. I was being experimental with it, and I'm actually proud of how it came out. This is my son, Christopher. And so Christopher, my ex-husband, is Caucasian. I'm mixed. And so Christopher looks, like a lighter skin color with a tighter hair curl. And then this is Chris when he was a baby. And this is Daniela. So I have one girl and she's the oldest. And so again, she has that tighter curl, but a lighter skin complexion. Chris has a lighter skin complexion than all of my kids. He looks a lot like my biological father, who is half Black, half white. And so, I wanted to reflect my family tree. My grandmother had a bunch of kids. So this is my dad, my bio dad. This is my grandmother and her second husband. And then, this is my mom and my dad. And so this is my current husband, Christopher. We've been together 16 years, married 15. But these are like the cartoony pictures that I did, of my family. And so this book is a really good conversation starter for family tree, family dynamics. One of the things I touched on in here is about the most important ingredient in a family is love, right? It doesn't matter what your ethnic background is. You build a family on love. And so this is my second book, Shady Girl. It's not throwing shades. It's talking about the shades of color that makes up my family tree. So I really love this book. This is a thicker book. All of my children's storybook, I tend to stick with size 8 by 10. I like a bigger book. I do offer some of them in hardcover, but they all come in paperback. They're all also on Kindle and also available on my website as a downloadable, printable option. So yeah, this is book number 2. And moving right along, this one is Picky Picky Poppy. And again, I did not use an illustrator for this book. I use clip arts. I use image in here. And this one is based on my older son, Christopher, who was a super, super picky eater. Oh my goodness, it was like a knockdown, drag out fight every day to get him to eat healthy. And he had some health issues. So eating healthy would have helped him with his health issues, but he gave me such a hard time. So fun fact, all of my kids have a Spanish nickname. I'm not Spanish. I'm just about everything but Spanish. But I gave my kids all a Spanish nickname. So Chris's Spanish nickname was Poppy, which means little man. And so this one's title is Picky Picky Poppy. And it's just about starting the conversation, giving parents hope if you have a picky eater, a super picky eater in your family, one of your kids are a super picky eater, there is hope. Chris is turning 24 this year. He's super healthy. He's into health and fitness and all the supplements and working out and all this kind of stuff, right? But growing up, he was really frail and, had asthma. He had seasonal allergies. I had to dust and all these things, right? And so, when he was little, it was a challenge trying to feed him a balanced nutrition when he was fighting me. But this story is just about the mom really trying to be a superhero and trying to come up with creative ways to get him to eat. And so, I'm trying to find the page. She has a little, she's really sweet, and the way that she approaches him, and I also, one of the things that I did differently in this book too, if you notice, there's not a consistency of what the child and the mom looks like throughout this book, because I want every mom to be able to identify, right? Certainly my son, Chris, was not the only picky eater. I'm sure in any ethnic group, you can find a picky eater child. And so that's my reason for that. I wanted, the mom stays consistent in the story. She has her little cape on, and she talks really nice to him. She plays this little game, he's raising his voice and she's like, okay, well, what about this? And, what about this? And he's, screaming, no, I won't eat it. So it's a fun spin on nutrition of just parents, moms and dads alike, grandparents alike, trying to help their kids to eat a nutritious meal. Now, when I was writing this book, I remembered that I wasn't as picky as Chris. There were certain things that I did not like to eat growing up. And one of them was soup. Like if you are a West Indian, if you're a Jamaican, you know that soup in our culture is a big deal. I did not like soup growing up. And so my grandmother, me and my mom would be in this tug of war and she would give up, right? And so my grandmother would always step in and she would bribe me. She was like, if you eat half of this bowl of soup, I'm going to give you a sweet treat. And so that's how my grandmother got me to drink and eat soup. And so soup in Jamaica is different than soup here. Soup here tends to be like tomato soup and mushroom soup and stuff like that. In the island, soup is a full-on meal. There's dumpling, there's banana, there's yam, there's meat, whether it's chicken or beef. It's like a full-on meal. Carrots and celery and onions and all this kind of stuff. And so I wanted to give you, a proper picture of not just plain American soup, but for real West Indian Jamaican soup. And so that was the only thing I didn't really like eating when I was growing up. But my son, Chris, every day was something different. And so this book is a tool that parents can use to encourage their kids to eat healthy and to know that eating healthy, they're building a full, whole, healthy body that they'll need for later on. So Picky Picky Poppy, that's my little summary of that. Moving on to book number, what am I on? Book number 4. This book came about. This was not on my radar at all. I was working on a book for moms, a parent advice book I was working on, and I was having writer's block. And I'm literally at my kitchen, which is right over there, because I'm at my dining room table and my living room's right there. My kitchen is right here. So I was literally at my kitchen washing dishes, and I was praying like, Lord, what's up? I'm having such a hard time with trying to finish this book. I had written lots of it, lots of information, but I just didn't have peace about it, that it was a complete book, that it was telling the full story that I wanted to tell, and giving mom advice at different stages of their kids' life. And literally the Lord dropped in my mind and told me, put a pause on that book, put it on the shelf. We'll come back to that. I want you to write this book. This is the title. Nope, wrong book. This one. This is the title. Do you see the hand of God? And I was, washing dishes, and I'm like, okay. I didn't understand. I didn't have enough context. And so, I'm still praying. I'm like, okay, Lord, what do you mean? What, do you see the hand of God? That could mean a lot of stuff. Where do you want me to go with this book? And literally in my head, it was like, you love to take pictures. You love nature. Your phone is full of all these pictures and these travel places that you've been to. Do you see the hand of God? Write this book teaching kids to look for me in all living things. And I was like, okay. And so literally at my kitchen sink, the Lord gave me this title, this book that was not on my radar. I'm one of those writers, one of those people. I keep a running list of book ideas that I want to write. My phone, I have a whole note section in my phone that's like scrolls long. And as I encounter different things and get different ideas, I keep adding to that list. Nothing on the book, on my list, had anything to do with, do you see the hand of God? Anything to do with this title at all? Anything to do with pictures and all of that. And so literally I had been working on that mom advice book for months and couldn't finish it. And after God met me at my kitchen sink washing dishes, I literally had this book thrown together in like a week and posted on Amazon, uploaded to Amazon. So the moral of the story is, sometimes you are working on one book and you may have writer's block, or you may have a difficult time finishing it, and you have an idea to start a whole nother book. It's totally okay. A lot of writers, I had to talk to a few writers to kind of figure out that this was normal. And so this is how Do You See the Hand of God, the book title, and the book came into play. A lot of the pictures, maybe like 90% of the pictures in this book are from pictures that I took on my phone, different places with my kids, in nature. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see that I love to travel, and I love nature. I love hiking. I love swimming, and a lot of outdoorsy things. And so this book, Do You See the Hand of God, is based on that, really teaching kids that no matter where you are, what environment you're in, if you look around, you can find God in a lot of things, right? So there's a little story behind this horse whose name is Black Beauty. So my church goes on an annual camping trip. It's usually the third week of July every year, and they meet and they take a vote of which campsite they want to go, because I live in Michigan and there's loads and loads of different campsites. And so this particular summer we went to, I believe this was Seven Lakes, if I'm not mistaken, campgrounds. And a friend of mine, Christine, and I, and my son, I think my younger one, and a couple other people, we went for a walk. We love hiking, we love walking. So we went for a walk, and there was a guy, he was walking his horses, and Black Beauty was one of them. And then there's a lighter color, like a buff color horse. And, we were talking to this guy, and I asked him if I could pet his horse, because I love horses. I ride. And so him and his wife was there, and he's like, yeah. And the horse was so sweet. Let me come right up to her. I was petting her. Like, she was so sweet. And so this is a picture of that horse that I came across camping, and I'll never forget it. My younger son was there, me and Christine. And just, throughout the book, there's all these just amazing, different different pictures of people, of fruits and vegetable, of nature, and just amazing. There's a couple in here, like this is a picture that I did not take. I got that from somewhere else. But most of the pictures, like more than 90% of these pictures, I took myself. And so, yeah, God gave me the idea for this book. It was not on my radar, not on my list, not in my mind in any form or fashion. To write a book about kids looking for God in their environment, in their family, in animals, in plants, in nature, all of that. And so it's one of my thicker books. I don't remember exactly how many pages, but it's one of my thicker books that I've done. If you look in comparison to my other books, I think I have one other book that may be more pages than this one. So yeah, that's the story behind You See the Hand of God. Now, back to I Am the Secret Sauce. I love that title. I was actually in a business networking group, and somebody said something about secret sauce, but they were talking about food. If I'm not mistaken, I think she was talking about how she makes her macaroni and cheese. And literally while that was happening, I was like, I like that title. How can I use that? I had to switch it up a little bit because it's not about food, right? And so I Am the Secret Sauce is based on me. I'm that girl that I grew up with super low self-esteem. I was super skinny. My teeth was crooked. Kids made fun of me. I was bullied at school, like the whole situation, right? I was really quiet and really timid and didn't speak up in class, all the things, right? They made fun of me for how skinny I was. They made fun of me because of the shade of my skin color. They made fun of me, because I had crooked teeth. They made fun of me because I talk funny, you name it. Like kids made fun of me in elementary school. It was a nightmare. I did not like school. And so that affected me for quite some time. I didn't really come into myself until in my 20s. I started like blossoming, if you will, when I became a mom, and even, more so in my 30s and 40s and now 50s. I've really come into my own to accept that, I'm not for everybody, right? And somebody may not like the way that I sound, but they don't have to listen to me, right? And also that, labels that people put on you, they're optional. They're not your own. You don't have to own them. And so one of the things that I'm really proud of is teaching my daughter to have a healthy self-esteem, right? Because my mom was a teenage mom, and certainly she knew, she knew some about the bully. She didn't know the full details about it, but I wanted to change that narrative for my daughter. I did not want her or any of my kids to go out into the world and for whatever people didn't like them or whatever labels, negative labels that people would put on them, for them to own that, for them to believe that. And so I wrote this book, I Am the Secret Sauce. It's an affirmation story book for kids. Again, all my books are for kids preschool to around 5th grade or middle school, depending on the level of your child. But this is an affirmation storybook for especially girls, right? Boys get bullied too, and I'll work on something for that. But this was me. This was me. I wrote this story from the place of me, the little girl who was really shy and really bullied in school and thought I wasn't pretty and thought I would be nothing, because that's what kids said. And even some of the adults in my life, those are the things that they said. So this is a tool for parents to use to start the process of building up their girls' healthy self-esteem. It starts at home, right? If you start at 2, and even 1, you're so beautiful, you're so strong. And if you recognize what your child's gifts and abilities are, or things that they're good at, like build that up, like, oh, you're such a good problem solver. You know, you're maybe going to be a mathematician or an engineer or, you know, a doctor, you know. Find things and ways, moms, I'm talking specifically to the moms right now. Find areas and tools to build up your girls' self-esteem so that when they start school, you know, when they're 3 years old and they start preschool, they don't have a blank canvas. You've already been telling them that they're beautiful and that they're strong and that they're smart and that they can be anything they want to do with hard work. So when they go to school and a kid say you're dumb, they're not going to believe that, right? If they're starting with a completely blank slate, the world is going to paint the picture for them. The world is going to paint on that canvas. And so I wrote this book, you know, with me in mind of how I grew up, right? You know, of my mom not fully understanding what was happening and how to help me, right? And I really lived a limited life for a long time because I believed a lot of the things that kids and adults told me that were negative. So this is a tool. And it's like I said, it's an affirmation storybook, you know, of girls doing all kinds of things. And one of the things that I like to do in my books is I like to represent multicultural because I'm mixed, right? And I don't live in a world where it's just one ethnic group, right? So whether you're African American, whether you're Asian, whether you're from the Middle East, whether you're First Nation, whatever your ethnic group is, I wanted a representation of those girls in this book, I Am the Secret Sauce. So you'll see African American, you'll see darker skin, you'll see lighter skin, you'll see curly hair, straight hair. You'll see all of it. You'll see blonde, brunettes, Asian. I wanted it to be all inclusive because this is an issue that women and girls face of all nationalities, right? And so I wanted to represent that, right? Parents, moms especially, right? I have one daughter, so I identify more with her because I know what it's exactly like to be female, to be a girl, right? And so I want moms to use my book, buy my book as a tool, you know, to help have the conversation with your daughters about, you know, being healthy, being strong, not accepting labels, negative labels that anybody, even if it's your mom, I don't care who's the person, who's the adult in your life that's going to tell you you can't do something, or, you know, your looks won't get you what you need, or whatever it is. It's not true, right? I want you to build up your girl self-esteem. And so this book also, I included some poems in the back. I included 3 poems in the back. I included an affirmation collage, an affirmation oath. There are word searches in the back. I wanted this to be an excellent tool, right, for girls to use to know that they're beautiful, that they're strong, that they're talented, that they're loved, that they're needed, that they have a place in this world, that they can impact the world in a positive way. So this is the reason why I wrote this book, I Am the Secret Sauce, because we are the secret sauce. Every girl in this world, all around the world, needs to know that they're the secret sauce, that they're all things good, that they deserve respect, that they deserve to be treated well, all of the good things. And so that's my summary and my reason behind writing I Am the Secret Sauce. Now, this is my newest one, Sophia's Great Adventure. And this is my only fictional storybook so far. And Sophia, it's a bunny in the book, right? And Sophia was my best friend growing up, and we're still very close. She lives in Toronto. I went and saw her with my daughter back in, I think it's December. We drove out to Toronto and, you know, we met up at the mall, and it was just amazing. But Sophia and I grew up and we got in all kinds of mischief. She would come over to my house. I'd come over to her house. We hung out at school all the time. And so I named the main character after my best friend growing up, Sophia. And so the premise behind this book is about a bunny going on an adventure. So in real life, my friend Sophia, we went on adventures, right? We drove out to the country. We took the bus. When we were young teenagers, we took the bus. We went to the beach. We did all kinds of stuff. Our moms, please forgive me. We got into some trouble. And so this bunny goes on adventure. She likes to go on adventures. I still like to go on adventures. So she goes on adventure through the forest to find this treasure chest. But there's more. So she meets different animals along the way. She encountered, problems, difficulties, stumbling block, roadblocks, and she had to dig deep. She had to persevere. She had to, not had to, but she chose to make new friends on her journey. And when she found this treasure chest, she didn't keep all the treasure for herself. She shared it with the friends that she made, her little forest friends that she made. And so this book is multi-layered. It's teaching kids, and it's for boys and girls, but it's teaching kids to be adventurous, right? And to recognize that whatever adventure you're on, there's going to be a problem. There's going to be a stumbling block. There's going to be a challenge. But if you work hard, you can overcome that. And also in life, we get to meet new people. We get to meet new friends. And so, you can be open to helping others and open to letting others help you. And so, Sophia, I'm trying to find the page. It's hard to turn the page when you have the book facing the wrong way. But along the way, these are all her forest friends that she met. And she ended up sharing her treasure chest with them, which is super amazing, right? So this is the page where, she brought them to the treasure chest. So I love this book. It's fun. It's my only fictional one. And in the back again, I included some poems about kindness and sharing and friendship, because real life, you need all those things, right? So Sophia's Great Adventures, my newest book, and it's my only fictional book. So this brings me to the last book. This one is called Dancing Watercolor Fest, and it's a how to paint using watercolors. So my kids are all artistic in the form that Daniela, she's still into painting and all this DIY stuff. She played the piano, I was taking her to pottery class and different things like that. My son, Christopher, was into sports and into nature. Gabriel was into piano, and, all of my kids, they were artistic in some form or fashion, including my youngest one. And so this book is based on the stages that they went through where they love to paint, where they love to color. And if you have young kids, watercolor painting is the best way to start. And it's so fun. And if they really want to get into, painting for real with oil-based paint and stuff like that, it's easier to start with watercolors and then work their way up. And you can start them at home before you start giving them classes where you have to pay, right? And so this is a how-to guide, the tools that you'll need, where to get them, how to store and dry, your paintings and stuff like that. I still have a lot. I put in practice pages in the back of the book here. So this is a fun way to teach your kids how to paint using watercolors. And so that's the reason behind, this book. And every time I talk about something, there's, steps involved, there's practice pages, all of that. So this is a fun, small 6x9 book to teach your kids how to paint using watercolors. So I want to ask you guys a question. Which of my 7 children's storybook speaks the most to you? Which one really jumped out? Is it the painting one? Is it Sophia's Great Adventure? Is it the I Am the Secret Sauce affirmation storybook for girls? Is it the Do You See the Hand of God? I'm trying to get the, there we go. to focus. Do you see the hand of God? Is it picky, picky, poppy because you have a picky eater in your life? Is it shady girl because you want to start the conversation about family dynamics, family tree, ethnic group, family origin? Or is it Little Marie's life in Jamaica? So these are my 7 children's storybook. I enjoyed writing each and every one of them. I have others that I'm working on right now, but these are, my babies, because these just speak to a different area in a kid's life. I feel like will be beneficial. And so comment below, which one of these books do you find the most interesting, intriguing? And tell me, do you have a child or children, multiple children? I'm a mom of 5, but do you have children, and what kind of storybooks do they like to read? Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I'm going to include my Amazon author link in the description below, as well as my website where you can buy my books. There are video story time on there. There's printable, there's hardcover, and there's paperback. Thank you guys so much for joining.